jump into our cold open here, since we did our recap that you will all never see. All right. So we open in the deep, dark cave that you all had recently climbed out of. The underground research area, with the tunnel connecting to it, having fallen dark and silent. We see from the mouth of the cave a robed figure appears and slowly walks towards the little shack. We follow the figure inside as it stops, looming over the dead body of the tiefling who had begun to mummify under the bed. The robed figure lifts a hand and mutters an incantation. Swirling black smoke, energy flows from the figure and down into the corpse. An uncomfortably long moment of silence passes. For effect. Suddenly, the corpse twists violently. The sounds of bones breaking and dislocating rings out. The dead tiefling opens its eyes and mouth, letting out a pained cry. No! How? Why? The hooded figure replies in an inhuman voice. Who was here? What did they take? It hurts! Speak. And we cut to black. Ooh. So grab a drink, do what you need to do, and we'll get started here in a moment.
All right. Oh.
Yeah, I wrote that one in about a minute and a half because I totally did it late.
Sure, we bet there.
Hooray! All right. Just a quick running check. Just want to make sure everybody is here before we get started. Relic.
Yep.
Clipper.
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. Tia. I heard Eligor. I heard Pancake. Vol.
Yep.
And then Perry. Cool. All right. I appreciate your patience with me here, folks. We are just getting things started. All right. So we open in the depths of the cave. Final harrowing hiss escapes from the roper as it breathes its last breath. Silence returns to the area around you, the sounds of your torches softly echoing against the high ceiling. You hear the dragging of footsteps nearby as a bloody, yet not Rorik rounds the corner. I can't leave you alone for 5 minutes without you all nearly getting yourselves killed. His tone is almost playful, but his expression is not. A large gash on his forehead above one eye leaks blood down across his face. If you're done screwing around, I found the exit. He turns away from you all and slowly begins to shuffle back around the corner.
Yeah, I think we should follow. There's a lot of guts around.
Yeah, there are roper tentacles and roper guts pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty gross in there.
I'll move Tia because I know that this map is quite literally hell for your setup. Vivar's gonna go.
There's a lot of stuff up here.
Yeah, he says, trying to ignore the pitfall trap that has clearly been. He leads you down several winding, dark passages. Eventually, you come to what appears to be the logfall trap that I mentioned that he had just sprung. The wound over his eye makes a little bit more sense now. You round the final bend here, and your eyes catch the most pleasant sight that they have in probably more than a week. Light, natural light, what appears to maybe be starlight. As you get up here towards the front, once you guys have all kind of caught up, you'll see there are these wrought iron gates that appear to be basically ajar. They're heavily rusted, and they leave pretty much a clear trail of powdered rust in their wake from being opened or swung open. Relic, as you move towards the front of the cave, the humid night air kind of hits you like a punch in the face. And since you're kind of the first one out here, you see on the front of the gate, there is a notice. And
Oh, what language is it in?
It is not in a language you know.
Cool. What a pretty picture.
Bivar will come up and read the notice to you. You should all get this as a pop-up now, I think.
Oh.
So Bivar reads it. Vol, you can read this too. It's written in Aqua. It says, "Beware, the creature that lurks in this cave is dangerous. Do not open. Do not meet the Bodak's gaze."
Can I knowledge check on Bodak?
Sure. Yeah, if you'd like to do, I would say either Arcana or Nature, depending on what you would.
Yes, that was the role I was looking for too. So yeah, I've heard all sorts of stories about the Bodak.
you know a guy named Bodak, but like you're pretty sure he doesn't live in this cave, and he doesn't look anything like what's in that picture. Then you realize
but you still don't want to meet his eyes.
Right. Suddenly you find yourself humming tunes that, well, I'll avoid making that joke. Okay, so Perry, with a 17, you have definitely heard of a creature called a Bodak before. Let me pull up a description here for you. We'll see what you know versus what you don't know. So, a Bodak from that Arcana check is basically what you would know to be an undead creature in service to a god that you don't quite recall the name of. Devoid of life and soul, it exists only to cause death. The one thing you remember about, reading about this creature, besides the fact that it's undead, so it doesn't need air, it doesn't need food or sleep or anything, it does have something strange it can do with its eyes. Essentially, you've heard stories that people who look this creature in the eye can actually be scared to death immediately.
I strive for that.
Yeah. Yeah, we could all learn a thing or two from the friendly Bodak.
What are you thinking about?
Glad
there?
we didn't run into that.
Oh. You think we've passed the threat?
Well, we didn't run into that, but there's another locked gate right down there. Think we should close the gate behind us? I'd hate to trap someone in.
Trap ourselves in with whatever's on the other side.
Maybe make a note if you go back the way we came through the swamp to put that note on the other entrance as well.
Well, Clipper can make a copy, right?
I can make a copy. I can.
Sure. Yeah. Let's see how effective your copy is.
Okay,
Clipper.
hold on one second here. Let me get to my copy machine. Hold on one moment.
I hear a puppy over there.
Nope, that's Clipper's copy machine.
That's a real bad copy. I'm sorry. My hand got in the way.
Well,
Of the
it
image.
sounded like it was shaking.
It's an old copy machine.
Tia, do you think you can repair that? I think Clipper's copier is broken.
Makes just as much sense to me now with his copy. I think it's prettier because of how soft and blurry it is.
It's more up to interpretation as to what this drawing is.
Artist's interpretation.
It's like an ink blot test.
It's like those police sketches.
Yeah, so Vol,
Impressionism.
you take a read of Clipper's copy here, and it says something along the lines of like, "Cave bad, eyes up, don't cave." And
That's
when
the
you
way
look
we
in
like
the
to cave.
you look into the eyes of the Bodak in the drawing, and you realize that the eyes are offset. One's looking at you, and one's looking like.
It's okay, Clipper. We all can't be good at everything.
This is my thing, though. Oh well.
Maybe find something else.
Maybe.
We can take a look at those loose screws or whatever that sound is later. It's kind of alarming, but I think it's not one of your chief functions, so we should be okay for a bit. Oh my gosh. Maybe I
It
should
doesn't stop, does it?
Oh man,
Those are the loosest screws I've ever heard.
Clipper's whole arm just comes off. The pistol fires into the dark.
Collapses the cavern.
There you
Rocks
go.
fall, we all die.
Problem solved. Bodak's trapped now. So yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys what you would like to do.
I think that we just do as we said and go close the door behind us and leave a thank you note here, and we'll go on ahead. We have no choice but to face whatever uncertain peril might lie ahead.
I like that attitude. Okay, yeah, if you guys are going to try to close the gates, let's get strength checks, I guess, to try to pull them back into place.
The strong people can do that.
You have a few strong people.
Ooh, I'm a strong person.
Ooh, me too.
Yeah.
Joking. Definitely not.
I'll move everybody out of the cave so nobody gets trapped in there with the Bodak, unless that's the plan. Yeah, without me needing to switch layers and move. Rallic, you grab the gate on the inside and just completely hoss this thing towards you. It wedges itself back into its original position. You have a feeling it'll be pretty secure in that way. And then you guys have one more gate to move. We'll move
Okay. Oh,
out
this
of the way
said
here.
Bodak, not Bo Derek.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So if somebody else wants to try a strength check or something, if somebody helps you, you can. Bivar will help you. Whoever'd like to do it.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, you
Yay.
and Bivar managed to grab it and close it together.
I like to think that Bivar closes it and Perry does that kind of cartoonish. He's got his shoulders against it and his feet are kind of staying in place. He's pressing against the dirt. Dirt's piling up beside his shoe. But his shoes are staying very clean though.
Yeah, about halfway towards you closing the gate, you realize that you should be pulling, at which point you pull and it slaps right into place. Cool. All right.
Well, Ralic's going to scout further outside and see what the area looks like.
Yeah, so it is a warm and very dark night. The cloud coverage is thick, and it appears actually, Rallic, since you're out here, the only light you can see in the entire night sky is the light being reflected off of the moon. Nienna is the light that is shining down literally amidst a sea of darkness. Thankfully, it wasn't covered as well, or the entrance might have been harder to spot. Let me get a general, I guess, perception check from you then. Okay. Yeah, you're definitely in an area with wet ground underneath. There is vegetation around. The familiar smell of the swamp kind of absorbs you here. You are quite sure that you are somewhere in the swamp, and you're also sure it's probably the middle of the night, based on the moon's position.
Well, okay, this is good. We've got some. We have some places to get away.
Goodness, the air is not even that much better up here.
Oh, no, but it's nice to have some fresh air.
And if you
Yeah.
call it fresh.
I think that sounds right. I don't think I like caves very much.
So, I guess at this point, Perry, do you have a sense of direction? Which way are we facing now?
I always have a sense of direction, and I'll look up at the stars.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Oh, did you want me to make a navigation?
Yeah, you could either or. I'll say navigation tools is going to have disadvantage for a reason that will become abundantly clear after you roll.
Well, that's what I was going to do, so there we go.
Cool. Yeah. So you have learned how to navigate by the stars when needed, and you look up, and it's just too cloudy. There are no stars. The moon is really the only source of light kind of peeking through the clouds right now. So you... I mean, I'll say with an 11, you can definitely tell you're facing west, but that's about all you get.
Well, now see, this is a problem.
I don't get it. What's the problem?
We'll just look at the sky. It's dark.
There's the moon.
There's the moon. That's pretty
The
great.
moon doesn't do anything for anybody. I think we're going west.
I like the moon.
I just kind of shrug.
Because it is good to us.
The tides, too.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend your deity there.
I like it.
Bibar, do you know where we are?
Outside.
All right.
Wow.
Why don't we go to sleep or
See?
something? I'm tired. We did a lot of walking and climbing and fighting for our lives. If we sleep by the door, we'll hear if anybody comes knocking, and we can let them out. And then if nobody comes, we can leave in the.
Yeah, that sounds good. I have some work to do on what just happened with my copier.
Have I had my tents this whole time?
Yeah. So you guys have that haversack. I just assume that anything that's too big to carry, you probably stow in the haversack from time to time.
Okay. I'm just gonna start crawling up Clipper's back and pulling my stuff out and setting up a very, very nice little area. And then I'm gonna pretend to smoke a hookah. I'm gonna minor illusion a hookah.
Clipper, you feel quite clearly the bodak on your back pulling at you.
Oh gosh!
Before you realize it's Perry
retrieving
retrieving his belongings from the haversack.
Maybe. Okay, that's not so bad. That's good. That's interesting.
I'll kind of pat him on the head when I'm on top of him.
Mush.
So, yeah, I'm setting up like a little station with like my smith's tools and my tinkerer's tools, and I'm just kind of like going through my bits and bobs.
Sure.
I will help if I am.
Absolutely.
You have consent. You have.
Yay! See, I'm learning.
Rorik and Bivar, because I have control of those two, will work on setting up a fire, which they do to a relatively reasonable success. There's enough broken wood around that they're able to cobble together a small campfire for you guys.
I'll scout around the immediate area, just looking for what I see. In particular, making sure there's no one around or nothing immediately dangerous. We're not camping by a bear's den or something.
Sure. Yeah, you. I'm not gonna have you keep rolling perception. You rolled that 15, which is good enough. You do a nice wide sweep of the camp. You don't hear anything or see anything out of the usual. You spot a few small critters that are kind of roaming around here, like lizards, essentially. You spot a decent-sized frog at one point. The fauna would indicate that you are definitely still in the swamp, if that was not clear.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'll just come back and keep talking.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
There we go.
This is the tale of swamp adventures.
All right, Clipper, give me a performance check. Let's see how good your campsite stories are.
Okay. Bad.
Well, you do get your +1 there. So even though it's a bad, your little guy, your little doll friend he's doing his best to keep up with your movements, and he tries to act out all of the things that you're doing with your hands as well, and he keeps up reasonably well. So it sounds like you guys are going to make camp here. I guess I just need to know who's on watch.
I'm sorry, what was that was keeping up with Clipper?
So back when you guys were in the lizard town, he has that little doll that he found.
Puppet,
oh!
yeah.
He's got that little boy.
Right. Okay, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, basically mimics his movements.
It's not very effective. I feel like I need to work on this too.
You can tell his
Ralik
feeling.
will take the first watch.
Okay, Ralik's on first watch. I need 3 more.
I'll take one.
That's Tia, and was that Eligor?
And I'll do security camera.
All right. So we'll start with Ralik. Ralik, I just need a perception check. Yeah, you're reasonably alert. You've got your moonlight rocking tonight. It's, you're not sure what everybody else is complaining about with the air and the lack of stars. You've got the only celestial body that really matters, and she's hanging out with you, and you and her complete your watch successfully. You can then go and wake up Tia. Tia, same thing, just a perception check.
Okay. Can I throw on my visor?
Of course. Okay. Yeah, Rowlet comes, wakes you up. You just kind of sit up and, maybe go for a short stroll at some point just to kind of walk the perimeter. And you don't really hear much of anything. There's small wildlife here, but you're pretty sure that wherever you are maybe is different than where you were before. I mean, you're still in the swamp, but there's not that like looming sense of dread with every single step anymore. The trees are noticeably smaller as you kind of walk around and take a look. Your watch really ends without much of an issue. You come back to camp and you wake up Eligor. You and Rosie crawl back in your sleeping bag, and you see some strange colored smoke coming from Perry's tent, and it'll be Eligor's turn to take watch.
Can I use my sense of smell instead of just looking?
Of course, yeah, that'll give you advantage. Unless you guys get attacked by ghosts, I don't see a reason why smell wouldn't be a good way to keep watch. Yeah, on the 15, this place is rife with smells. You find yourself getting hungry. You definitely know that there's a badger nearby, and it's not very big. Like, you could take it pretty easily by yourself. And you've never really thought a badger would be tasty before, but, whether you're just sick of Vol's good berries and those mushrooms that you had or what, you find yourself craving some badger. Yeah, exactly. You could wake up Rallick and go chop it up with the axe, the cleaver. Your watch passes uneventfully, and then the last victim, I believe, was Clipper.
Yeah. Clipper is watching, but also like he's like opening his chest compartment up, which he hasn't done before, and he's starting to like look at his magical core, kind of like with his head ducked down. He's like in there and he's poking it. He's like, it seems like it's not getting enough energy to the rest of my parts. And he's taking out like he's like, what is this? An extra redundant core? So he pulls that out, and he's like looking down at the little puppet, and he's like opens the puppet up and starts like shoving pieces into the puppet with the tinkerer's tools.
Yeah. Originally it's following your movements, and then as you begin to add parts to it, it lifts its hands up in your direction and waves at you like no, but do whatever you'd like to do.
Yeah, he's just like kind of he looks like he's trying to like stare into it, like send like a communication to it, like stop. There. Now, you just take circles around the campsite. That way I can focus on me, okay?
It just kind of like looks at you and then looks down at itself. You don't speak puppet, but you're sure it feels like it's a monster now.
Yeah, it's just like it's just looking up, and I'm like, oh, you're so big.
You are the puppet.
Just take some circles around. It's okay. You're fine. You can think now. I gave you a little bit of my I guess me. So you go wander.
Yeah, it does. It just kind of like hops down onto the ground off of your lap and takes a look left and takes a look right and marches like one of those toy soldiers just off into the after about a good 20 minutes or so, it comes back. It's got a frog in its hands. The frog's alive. It's just carrying it. Oh. The frog jumps out of his grasp and he runs over and he picks it up again and
careful.
Kind of like cuddles it.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's very fragile. That's living things are fragile. You have to be careful with living things. he is, I think the little boy squeezes the frog a little too hard, and its leg just kind of breaks, and he's like, oh, and then Clipper grabs the frog and looks at it, and he some energy like discharges from his hands like electricity, and it just it basically starts to put like a metal brace on the frog's leg, like it's like little bits of liquid metal kind of form over the break and straighten it out, and the frog now has this like robot leg. He's like, oh, that's better now, and he gives the frog back to the boy.
Yeah, he's very confused at the metal part on the frog now, and he seems to not be interested in it anymore. He puts it on the ground and lets it hop away.
Yeah, it's just it has this like makeshift robot leg. Yeah, he's like, that was weird. I spontaneously generated that part, and I never had. I mean, I made the cyber mule. Where did the cyber mule go?
Where did you leave Cyber Mule?
I think Cyber Mule is gone.
I think
I forgot about Cyber Mule.
Trident?
Yeah, I think the Cyber Mule is like now in a museum.
Cyber Mule is now the mayor of the Trident, FYI. But yeah, the boy has learned that should anything ever become injured, the best thing to do is electric. So he has learned a lot tonight, I think.
Okay. Well,
you find him just kind of, you're keeping watch and he's watching you, and then goes back to keeping watch. Like he's trying to mimic your movements still.
He's like, I'm like, no, you think for yourself. What's like, for instance, what's your name? And he just kind of stares. I'm like, no, what, say your name. Can you speak? Hello? Answer me. Hello, answer. Oh, that's good. Answer. I'll call you Answer. Okay, that works. So you can't talk. And I think it just shakes its head. Okay. You're doing good. This is good. You can watch our friends. It's Metal Boy.
Oh my goodness.
So you all,
why is it terrifying?
You all kind of, as Clipper's watch ends, wake up to find it watching you. Clipper is sort of looking off in the distance, and one at a time you wake up and lock eyes with Answer as he stands quietly in the darkness, watching you.
I think if Tia's like back up, I like go over to Tia. I'm like, Tia, I did a thing. I was looking at my magical core, and I saw there was a redundant, smaller magical core, and I didn't know what it was for, and I know this was probably a bad idea, but I took it out and just kind of saw what it would do to other constructed materials, and, well, it looks like I might have animated that puppet boy.
I'm sorry, what? Like, it was you what? Okay. So, one, you probably bad to randomly remove parts before knowing what they do. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to like run diagnostics on you. And two, what?
Well,
What happened?
More strangely, I also it seemed to be some sort of buffer for the magical energy in me, because I seem to be able to channel some magic into I fixed a frog that had a broken leg, and I hadn't been able to do that before. I think that perhaps maybe that was something to do with my combat readiness, which he's looking scared at the puppet now.
Wait a sec. Did you make this? Did you just make a tiny murder machine?
I might have done that.
Okay.
So,
but what it does? Do you talk? Do you have a name? What should I call?
I've been calling it Answer all night, but it doesn't talk, which is, I guess, ironic. But
okay.
Yeah.
So can I run diagnostics on you and Answer as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm worried.
So yeah, you run diagnostics, and Clipper has like he's definitely showing he's got like magical energy, like arcane energy, kind of irradiating from him. It looks like you can see Clipper has been like uh basically taking some of the tools and like tracing like these geometric patterns on his plating and like the wooden components and on the pistol as well, which might make Perry sad, but like has been tracing designs. I don't know. I felt I was trying to focus on trying to fix myself, and something just started to feed these patterns into me, and I think I've enhanced things just by drawing on them.
That doesn't make any
These
sense.
non-Euclidean symbols. Wait, who's
that can't be
Euclid?
real.
Anyway.
Oh, that would have been an adorable name for Answer, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So you're saying that just like drawing symbols on you enhanced your
It's
mechanical abilities? That doesn't make any sense.
well, they're just patterns that seem to be, they I don't know, extra dimensional design. I don't know what these are. I'm still learning.
Okay, well, I guess we'll keep an eye on that. But
Maybe I'll start to
Yeah, that-
remember something.
oh, maybe this is your memories coming out from before the thing, the
Well,
clampy thing.
it seems
And
like
do you remember anything about the clampy thing?
I think
About how it got there?
I mean, I think so. I think Clipper is like kind of flashing back, and I think it was just like, I remember I had been breaking things, taking things apart, putting them back together, and someone was very mad at me. They were upset that I was, experimenting, and I was supposed to be more of a tool, and they made some adjustments that just focused all that extra energy and willpower that I had into, I guess, shooting things, which I think I can still do. But I don't remember who was mad and why they didn't want me to experiment. But yeah.
Interesting. I wonder if we can do anything to tweak that and like make those memories come out more. I'm very curious.
That's
about who
probably-
these people are and the things that you discovered when you were dismantling things and looking for discoveries. I want to know what
Well, we
those
have
things
to
are too.
narrative things will happen in time.
I know I'm not asking right now, but so I in addition to the diagnostics, I'd also like to kind of see, like you say, this thing is animated, but I'm wondering if it's like just an extension of you, since a part of you is in it.
I think it is.
I don't know.
So,
I'm curious. I'd like to run some more tests.
Yeah, and in game mechanics, I did decide to be the one that went ahead and built an artificer out of Clipper. So because I was playing with an unofficial build for my character, something that wasn't, really, I think, fully play tested. So since the artificers kind of have a little bit of a gun focus, it seemed to make sense. I just had to, tweak some things around, and I'm the battlesmith. So I made a little steel defender. That's a little boy, and obviously I tinker with guns and armor and stuff. So that's the other thing. Does that make sense?
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so this creepy little contraption is now part of your repertoire. It takes a moment before you're completely disarmed at its presence, but eventually, you kind of forget that it's there. It's about bright enough now that you guys can actually see the end of the tree line. Bivar kind of wakes up and snuffs out the fire, and you guys are free to move that way if you'd like to, or you can go back into the cave.
The cave? Why would we go back into the cave? Are there things we
Just,
missed in the cave?
No, definitely. I mean, death.
Oh yeah,
We had fun in the cave.
Well, there's more fun to be had in the cave if you want to run this. You could definitely go fight the Bodak if you want to, but otherwise, yeah, the end of the tree line is there. I think. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to accomplish this morning, or are you guys going to head out? What are we doing here?
Are we like sitting around the fire?
Yeah, we'll say that Bivar has not yet put it out, but it's early morning. People are kind of waking up.
Yeah, I think maybe as we're eating breakfast around the fire, we'll try to like start a little conversation with everyone. Just throw it out there like, guys don't talk much about what we're actually here for. Aren't you scared of what happens next?
Well, I mean, once we make it to the peace talks, I'm sure. I mean, I'm excited about what'll come next. Well, the war will end.
What do you do once the wars end? Some of you, like Rourke there, seem like to think it never will, or seem to live for this.
I've been thinking about opening a hookah shop.
Not sure what that is.
Sell some quality tobacco.
I don't know what that is either. Do you just go home after if this treaty is a success?
You know, we have encountered a number of things along the way. There's, I'm sure, still going to be use for the military, even without a war. Dealing with things like pirates, for one. Whatever it was that was down in that cave, down in really every cave we've ever been in, there will still be a need for us.
What if it doesn't go well, though, and you're stuck in the middle of the swamp? The rest of your people, or most of them, died in that town, did they not?
Not everyone had died. I thought other people were following us.
That's correct. You have a small contingent
No.
that was waiting a few days.
You're
Well,
still then just on enemy line.
there's-
You.
Well, I mean, if we need to, we can get out and back to the boats. But, I mean, I'm sure they'll send reinforcements. That would happen.
Taken us so long to get here, though. What about the weeks before reinforcements make it to you? You just all seem very casual and fun-loving, and I feel like I'm worried about what happened next.
We'll figure it out.
Fair enough.
I mean, look at how far we've made it.
That's very true. No. That's all. He's just having a minor concern.
Yeah, Bivar will chip in. You could always come back and just live in Quetzal with me. It'll be great. You all seem to like it there.
We could go to Great Harbor.
Yeah, it's not too far away. We get back on the boat.
Okay.
It's a nice place.
Let's
Yeah,
not go back
well,
through the cave.
we have more time there.
You're welcome to live in the swamp if you want to. I usually live on my own, but it's not bad having company sometimes.
Are we losing sight of maybe our duty?
I mean, no one's really mentioned it the whole trip. It's kind of what I was worried about.
Well, I mean, I spoke to the, well, I forget what rank he is, major, about the peace talks when we're there. I mean, we need to meet up with the the other contingent, and I mean, we haven't forgotten it. We've just been surviving.
No, I understand surviving. Just feel like there's a very tough time ahead. Wanted to make sure people weren't taking it too lightly.
Well, it's around that time you begin to hear soft sounds of thunder, a storm rolling into the area, probably. The fire is put out by Bivar. You guys make sure that's completely clear. Is everybody kind of still hanging out around the fire? What's everybody doing right now?
I'm just trying to figure out where we are.
Sure. I would say that you see the end of the tree line pretty easily now that the sun is starting to rise. When you head over in that direction, you spot a pretty wide open clearing. You take a minute to kind of gather up your friends, and see something coming.
Kind of spooky.
That doesn't look like swamp.
So, the morning sun still rises over this dank and pestilential landscape. The steady rain has started to fall on the fields around you. You see thickets of hardy grass are interspersed across the stagnant bog water. You catch eyes on a few massive swarms of insects that buzz by you. They're just going about their morning as well, like clouds of living noise and activity. Somewhere nearby, you hear a rumble. It's definitely the warble of a toad, but based on the volume, you're going to guess it's about the size of a small horse. The first unobstructed above-ground view that you've had in probably as long as you can remember reveals a decent-sized hillock in the distance. Upon it sits the disheveled ruins of a keep from an age long past. Its dark stone walls began to crumble long before the swamp folk claimed it as their capital. The twisting spires and elegant designs too old to even be a memory. The ruins of this place sit elevated, with the trees for probably a few miles in every direction having been cut down, creating open sightlines from the castle walls. Behold Castle Tetzinger, seat of power for the burgeoning new country of Mirato, the throne of Koren Tarvol and the Turtle race. Based on your position, you think it would probably take an hour, 2 hours to walk that?
I think I found the way.
Great. Well, let's get going. And I don't think that. I don't think they're going to be enemies. Vol, do you think it'll be safe in the castle?
I feel like the same thing from that other town wouldn't be possible here.
Right, if there's someone gaslighting this whole peace effort, then we're in trouble, no matter where we go.
My father's too strong and has too many friends here for this castle to be taken. I can't imagine the same thing happening.
Yeah.
Well,
So, I guess you guys are heading in that
Hurry
direction?
along.
Is that what I got?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the trudge through these open wetlands is difficult. You appear to sort of be off the beaten path that might be an inroads to and from the castle itself. Perry, you've kind of got your navigation tools all ready to go when you guys kind of come out of the forest here. If you'd like to make a navigator's tools check for me, or anybody else can make a survival check if they would prefer to do that instead. Nailed it. So you're kind of taking a look around at sort of studying the water tables almost, like looking at elevations. And you spot what should be a pretty clear jut above the rest of the elevation that you're on. You correctly suspect it to be like a wooden path. It's not in the direction of the castle, but with some encouragement, you think you could convince your party to head that way, and you'd probably have a much easier trek to the castle itself. And a much less muddy one, which I'm not sure if that would motivate Perrin or not.
I think if we go this way, all of our shoes can stay clean.
I don't think any of us are that clean by this point, but does that easy to
speak
walk
for
on?
yourself, I'm pretty clean.
You did stay clean. That's pretty impressive.
If you're still concerned about getting dirty, I feel like my point's been proven. And he's just gonna jump into the mud and start trudging through.
I would not recommend going that way.
It does seem like it would gunk up my joints a bit.
Well, I mean, if we're diplomats, we should look the part. Best we
Bye, Vol.
Meet you guys there.
Sure. So you guys take a slight detour. You head towards the wooden path. Vol, you're like a GI in Vietnam. Like you are just trekking through the shit. I would say that you guys are roughly going to make about the same time. Your detour is going to take a little bit of, but Vol, your trek is slow. That's a tough row to hoe that you've kind of carved out here for yourself.
Dug into the mud a few times and kind of came out looking like one of those like mud monsters from Scooby-Doo.
It's all stuck in your hair.
Oh yeah, the hair's a mess now. Flattened down to the side of his head.
Oh, I guess speaking of which, with it being day 2, when you reach up on your head to wipe the mud out of your beautiful hair, your fingers catch some burdening flowers that have started to sprout from the ivy that grows on your head.
He pulls them in front of his face and then just to himself goes, I hope my father doesn't find this new style child.
Maybe Bull's people get grumpy when they flower. I don't know.
Vol and his Bieber-esque do kind of dig their way through the mud together. Vol, the trudge through the wetlands is difficult. You all manage to make it together, roughly. You guys make it there first, but you see him, and he's out there, and he's trying, so you kind of wait on the path for him to catch up at the point where it intersects, and he catches up to you eventually and then kind of walks up on the path and turns around and looks at you guys like, well, now I'm waiting on you. So you all kind of continue your journey together, Vol leaving kind of a steadying mud trail, like some kind of a snail behind him now. Sorry, I lost my place here. So upon arrival, you get to the kind of like basically like an entry ramp. I guess I'll kind of do a little bit of a drawing here, just to kind of give you an idea, right? So your path took you basically this way. Oh God, what kind of shape is this? This is horrifying. Jesus. So then it would eventually lead you up this way as well.
Dungeon Madden. Yeah, you just
exactly.
you just got to run a straight line, Hail Mary up the hill, and
yeah, exactly. And then you make sure to block this guy, and then boom. Yeah, absolutely. So you all you arrive at essentially the point here, and there are 2 turtles standing guard. They're just kind of hanging out. They see Vol approaching. They don't appear to be alarmed in any way. Vol, they kind of look at you and then wave you over.
Yeah, I'll walk over to them and just say, "Greetings, friends."
Yeah, they reply in Aquan, like, "Quite the group you've got there. What brings you to Tetsinger?"
These are the land dwellers from Boletaria. They're here for the peace talks.
Oh. Rallic, nothing on the divine sense. The the turtle looks at you sort of confused. The Bolitarian delegation arrived a few days ago.
There were multiple groups in case one got wiped out, so they wouldn't all be in danger.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I can take you to them now. The other one kind of looks at him like, we're standing out here all by ourselves anyway. What's the big fucking deal? Go ahead. So yeah, he turns to you, Vol, and says, I guess I don't know if you can talk to them, but round them all up and follow me.
I did pick up their language, but can I ask you real quick what
Sure.
you think of my hair?
Oh, you're so muddy that I thought that's hair.
It's vines or flowers. It's been growing on my head. Usually things just grow on my shell, but
Wrong. It's beautiful. That's great.
do you think the king will think so?
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like some. How'd you get those?
There was this slimy stuff, and I smeared it on my head, and then it started growing. You can eat one, maybe, the flowers. The other
Okay.
people have been eating other things from my shell.
Sure, yeah, give me one.
Pluck one off and hand it to him.
Yeah, he just eats it. Wow, that's really good.
So if you can, if it tastes good, then maybe my father will think it's delicious, even if he doesn't like the appearance.
Wait, your father?
Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Kobren Tarvol. The king is my father.
Oh. Well, it's nice to meet you. And he breaks off his Kit Kat bar name for you.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you too. If you could take me to him with my friends back there, I'll tell him that you did a nice job.
Well, that sounds nice. I'm supposed to take any of the land dwellers to their respective camps, but after we drop them off, I can take you to your
I'd appreciate that, but try not to get angry. Some of them don't even like to get dirty.
Yeah, he lets out a horrible
Sorry.
chuckle along with you. He seems really happy that you let him eat that flower. So his mood is like instantly improved. Though through that march that you just took, under the sunlight, you don't need to eat today. You have been nourished by the sunlight, absorbed by the flowers in your hair. So take note of that.
I will take note of that.
So yeah, this guy that I didn't make a name for because I didn't think the interaction would be that amazing. That was great. He agrees and he begins to take you up the drawbridge that kind of separates the land from the castle proper itself. You look down and you see below you that there is kind of like an expansive moat system underneath the drawbridge. Any of you that look over the side, you would spot things like crocodiles and other, smaller predators and things that kind of like live and flourish in the water. You're maybe like 30 feet above them, so there's no real danger. You pass over the bridge itself and through, as you kind of follow the path towards the top of the hill, there's this archway. It's made out of, and it looks like it's falling apart, but as you get closer, you see that there are vines and mosses that have kind of grown over the stone. And with closer inspection, it appears as if those are actually holding the stone together at this point. So the archway that should be crumbled is actually being held together by whatever nature has overtaken this place. The guard leads you further up the hill, and eventually you hit like a Y in the path. You've got a path that leads up and to your right, and a path that leads down and to your left. To your right and up the hill, you hear what sounds like a higher foot traffic area, sounds of conversation and activity. To the left, which is where you're being led, dips down the hillside, wrapping kind of around the back of the hill itself. You continue to walk for a few minutes, and another patrol of turtles is coming towards you on the road. They see you walking towards them, and they respectfully kind of step off the path, and they've got no problem clomping into the mud on the side, and they let you pass through. You continue to dip down. The path continues to head into a lower elevation area. As it heads down, you find yourselves on wooden pathways, much like the ones that you guys use to take care of everybody except Volt. That helps you avoid from sloshing in the muck. Eventually, you reach these several small land masses with constructed huts on them. From a distance, you spot the trademarks of several small campfires as well. The guard turns around and looks at you, Vol, and he's like, "This is where the Bulletarians are staying. These guards should be able to help you from here." And he walks you up towards the front edge of a bridge. There are two more turtle guards, also wielding spears. They speak to the escort momentarily. They're just kind of talking back and forth. And the guard that you introduced yourself to, that you let eat one of your hair flowers, says, "So your friends, we're going to mark them so we know who they're here with. No offense, but you guys all kind of look the same." From behind him, one of the guards steps forward, and he pulls out a cloth bag. They look at you expectantly to explain this to your friends.
Yeah, he'd say something more on the lines like, we need to mark you, so if they need to ask someone you're with, they know who to get. So me, or who brought this delegation here? Not the race.
Oh, like name tags?
Maybe a color, or they didn't really specify.
It makes sense that'll be helpful for us.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not name tags. I don't think they can read your language, but maybe in Aquan. So he turned to the guy. How do we want to mark them?
You just have them line up. We've got something right here. He opens up the bag and he pulls out. It looks like a sponge, kind of. It's just like a small circular.
Oh.
If you guys could get in a single file line, no cutting.
Does this process look clean? Is the sponge dirty?
So you asked two questions and they have opposite answers. Does it look clean? No. Does the sponge look dirty? Yes.
I mean, what if I have a fast pass?
Oh, you paid the extra fee? I didn't even... Most people don't do that. That's a waste of money.
I was just thinking about maybe if I wanted to, but you think it's a waste of money?
Oh, well, you brought a child with you.
First, if you didn't get the fast pass, I mean, now we have to wait for you.
So, Rallick, being the first to kind of line up the guard that has the small sponge, he steps forward and he kind of, reaches towards your arm gently. He's not like going to yank you over here, but he, makes a motion like he wants you to hold out your...
I will do so.
Sure. Yeah, so he takes your right hand in his left and turns it so your palm is facing down so that the back of your hand is facing upwards. He takes the sponge and he places it on the top of your hand, and then with his free hand, he pushes down on the sponge. You feel a sensation. It's weird until it hurts, and it does hurt, but it's like, it's kind of like a bee sting, sort of. Like it kind of feels like burning. It's sharp for a sec, and then it switches to like a swelling kind of pain.
Like a tattoo?
Yeah. He
Ow.
pulls his hand away and looks at Vol and says something in Aquan. Vol, he's just like, oops, sorry. And you look down on the back of your hand, and you have a circular, white, fully filled in dot where the sponge used to be.
Ow. What is that, Vol?
Was it? I'm not supposed to do that. I would ask him in Aquan.
No, it's supposed to do that. They're just not supposed to cry about it.
Oh!
The ones without shells are rather weak and emotional creatures.
Chuckles. What is that on your head?
Oh, I give you the whole explanation.
Yeah,
Staring
and
at
same
the web.
same kind of thing. Like, unfortunately, this is now a thing. The entire time you're here, you're stopped constantly
Yep.
and asked about this situation.
Yeah, he'd offer as many flowers as he still has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll say, why don't you roll like 1d12 for me? Okay.
Oh.
So you started with 10, and you've got 9 flowers left.
Yeah, I'd offer this guy one then. I'd turn to Rallick as this guy's plucking a flower off my head. Say, it's just the marking. It should just prick a little bit.
Well, how long does it last?
But, well, Aquan, how long's that?
He says, I don't know. Couple of weeks, probably.
He said it'll last a couple weeks.
Oh, I could have
Okay.
marked us, but I guess they prefer that they do it.
There's a system.
Okay.
I'm sure.
This is the one that shows up under their magical black lights if you guys try to get into the club later.
If you're under 21, you need the X on your hand.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Rosie and Answer get different marks, but one at a time you guys are kind of shepherded through this line, unless anybody objects. They don't specifically see any need to mark Bivar because they know what he is and who he's with. They would more consider him one of their own than one of you guys, so... yeah, so you get to the end of the line, and the guards kind of separate. You're all kind of rubbing the back of your hand. Same thing you had... Like, it does. It burns. It stings. But after a few moments, the pain does go away. The camp that you're taken to, hopefully it brought you over here, should have 2 turtles at the bottom of the map where you entered. As you begin to cross the bridge, to your surprise, you see some familiar faces. One of them is perched on the stone around the campfire. One of several. These small huts are here. They appear to be ramshackle buildings, essentially built for the occasion, most likely. For you land dwellers who like to sleep inside and things like that. But yeah, if you'd like to drag yourselves onto the map, you could do so here or anywhere, I guess. I mean, realistically, as you come across, Lambert's going to jump down off of his perch, and Vol, are you? So Vol, as your party kind of begins to head across the bridge, they see Lambert, and the guard turns to you and says, "I guess I'll just take you to your father now."
So would the assumption be that I'm probably going elsewhere until, at least for what I would know?
Yeah, you wanted to go see your dad, so
yeah,
you've been to this city before, so you wouldn't see a big reason to come stay in their camp.
Okay. So, it could be, possibly theorized that, if this was Vol's job to get them here, that, he wouldn't know whether or not he'd see them again?
Your mission, as far as you know, has been completed.
Yeah, so he might try to catch them all real quick, going across the bridge before they run off, knowing that he's going elsewhere. And assuming everybody kind of, comes over, and nobody skitters away.
No, I'll come with you.
Yeah, just, real quick on the bridge.
Rorik leave.
Yeah, Rorik would absolutely leave. Yeah, he'd say, well, I've spent most of all of my life alone except for these last weeks or months, and this is awkward. I think this is how you're supposed to do this, but my job's done. It was my job to get you here, so as far as I know, this is goodbye.
And so he'd like turn to one person or each person in particular, like one at a time. So he'd just kind of go like,
Tia, thank you for teaching me how to use a bow. That's a skill that will come in useful in the swamps trying to hunt. I could catch new food. Rorik, I know we didn't see eye to eye, but it seems like your father's important. Clipper, I've never met someone or something like you before, but it seems like you've got a lot going on besides just the nuts and bolts that Tia seems to dig into. I hope you're not here for what I initially thought you were, but wish you the best.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment. Thank you.
It was. I'm just the best I know. Perry, you seem to really care about people and places and things. What you did for those children was great, and I know you'll do great things in the future. And if you can remember anything from me, it's don't be afraid to get dirty. It's not bad. Eligor, I don't know if you think you look scary, but you don't. You don't always have to wear all of that. They'll accept you for what you are. I do. And Rallic, I think maybe you're the closest I could have thought of as a friend. You're a good man, and I hope whatever you do after this I hope it treats you well, and you meet other good friends too.
and then he's gonna just turn his back and give like an over-the-shoulder wave.
Oh, well, I didn't think you were leaving. You're gonna go to the peace talks, right? He's calling after him.
Yeah, he's gonna turn around and say like, and like he turns back around and like he turned around real quick because as he turns back, he's got like a bunch of tears under his eyes and stuff. He's like,
oh well, this was my job was to get you here. I'm going to see my father, and he might just tell me I'm done and to leave. This isn't my home, and my job's complete, so it might not be goodbye, but in case it was, I thought it was best to say so.
Well, before you go, you're filthy, but your heart is clean. And he winks. And I will always be afraid of getting dirty.
I'll take both those things as a compliment.
Yeah,
and he's gonna
thanks. We'll meet again. We'll visit or something.
I might make my way to Grey Harbor, but I mean, it might be hard to find me in these swamps after. I'll try to stop at Grey Harbor. I do get out of the swamp from time to time. It was too crowded, but it was a nice place.
Well, that's just when the festival. It's much less people most of the time. Most of the.
Well, if I can get there some way besides that boat, I'll come up and visit sometime.
Oh well, good luck with your dad.
Yeah, you'll have to keep in touch. Like, I mean, my contract is still for under my conscription. I don't know what the commission, I don't know what the word for it is still, like, I still have like a year and a half, but I mean, I'll try to help you in
sounds good. And, I mean, don't be afraid to write messages with animals. If you give an animal a message and I'm close, it'll find me.
I'm sorry. Can you explain that?
Do we just like tie a note to it and say like go find Vol and then we're good?
Oh, no, you touch it and you say a few words in Aquan, and then you can talk to the animal. And some are very smart, but you tell them what to say and they'll say it, and who to find. Just tell them you have to give a close description. So tell them my hair might be longer by then.
Yeah, I don't speak Aquan. I can try to learn it though.
I can do that thing, but I think someone who speaks Aquan has to be around. And also, I don't think it works that way, Vol. Have you just been talking to animals and expecting them to take messages to people? I don't think that works.
I guess I never got one back, but I have sent a bunch. Maybe it does. But I'm sure I talk to them. They talk back to me. I'm not crazy.
Okay, hold on. I just for the sake of science, I want to test this.
I'm not considered an animal, if that's what you're thinking.
Oh, no, that would be quite rude if that was where I was going with that. It wasn't.
Does anyone have... Is there a small animal?
Perception checks.
Oh, it's my other character that has shared language. Ooh. Okay.
Vol, you spot a toad. Tia, you spot the same toad.
Oh, fantastic! I never got rid of speak with animals and animal messenger.
Excellent. Perry, you spot a rock and you're...
It's Pet Rock.
So yeah, he's gonna.
Oh goodness, that creature almost jumped on me.
I forget with animal messenger if I can talk to them then, or if I have to talk with them with the other spell, and then.
Let me look at it.
Okay, so Vol, just say something to me in Aquan, and I'm gonna try to repeat it back.
Yeah, he'll say like
Gorod to forlorn, or...
Can I roll something to see how close to that I get?
Yes. You can roll a performance check.
Caliente Cugoris?
Donde está la biblioteca?
Keep working on it. You'll get it sooner or later. It's hard to learn languages.
No, I think I got it. That felt right.
Well, I don't have ears coming out of my head like the rest of you, so maybe I didn't hear it as well.
So, Vol, Animal Messenger would allow you to basically point at that toad, give it a message and a directive. Like, you could basically say, how many words is it? I guess there's no limit on the message. Oh no, up to 25 words. Okay.
Yeah.
So you could basically point at the toad, give it a message, and then say, like, the halfling with the clean shoes, and it'll go look for the halfling with the clean shoes.
Yeah, so I think you.
But then what'll it do? What'll it do when it gets to me, though?
You'll find out.
Will it live that long in like normal circumstances?
So let's test the theory.
So wait,
Vol, what would you...
This is how we're sending for Vol, and we need him.
Yeah, so like this tearful goodbye with Vol has become this very ramshackle, like, hold on, wait, you can do what experiment?
Okay,
so all kinds
to be fair, with Tia and Perry, what do you expect?
Oh no, I don't expect any. I love this. I want you guys to do this for the next 3 sessions. But yeah, so as the rest of the Bulletarian delegation begins to try to approach you to say hello, all of you line up on the water's edge and watch Vol point at this toad. Vol, what would you like to do?
So he is going to do it the way that he's always known, even though it's probably not the right way. And he would do speak with animals first.
Okay.
So yeah, he'd go up to it and cast Speak with Animals and use whatever.
Okay, before you give a message, Nakare can jump in for like... Ryan's going to jump in for like just 10 minutes here, so I'm going to bring him in, and I don't want to interrupt what you're going to say, so give me just a second. Alright, Ryan, can you hear us? Hopefully so. You've all kind of landed in this strange situation where you're in Castle Tetzinger, and you were all saying goodbye to Vol with his mission completed. He then brought up something in passing about being able to speak with animals, so now everybody wants to watch him do it. So Vol, go right ahead.
Yeah, so he's going to walk up to the toad and sit down. I'm guessing it's in the water?
Sure, we'll say it's in the mud.
Yeah, he's going to sit like Indian style in the mud and
Oh, hello, Mr. Toad. Can I have you do something for me so that my friends believe that I'm not making up stories?
What?
Well, here, have this.
blah, and he barfs into his hand and flips him a good berry.
Yeah, his tongue kind of lashes out and catches it midair.
If you do what I ask you to do, there's another one for you, or as many as you can eat.
I don't know if I can eat another one. I'm very full.
I can leave the rest here in the water for you for the next time you're hungry.
Are you trying to bribe me?
Well, just for one small favor.
All right. What do you want me to do?
So I need you to deliver this message to the very clean halfling right there.
He points right at Perry, and he's going to... I'm going to type it to you in Discord.
All right. Yeah, you all kind of watch as Vol is sitting on the ground, whispering something to this toad. Before long...
Well, he's gonna whisper to the toad, and then he's gonna at that point, like, he's gonna get up and he's gonna walk away and say,
You'll see. Bye, friends.
and like
So to be clear, you're using Speak with Animals for this one?
Yeah, no, that was Animal Messenger. So he always spoke with the animals, and then he used Animal Messenger after.
I was going to say, you're going to be super disappointed with this thing, like, swims over there and just ribbits.
No, yeah, he always thought it had to be that way. Like, he had to talk with them first.
Okay, yeah. All right, so, yeah, you all kind of see Vol point at this toad and say something. You can't really hear him from where you are, but after a moment, the toad turns around and jumps in the water. Vol stands up and turns around and walks away. It's very uneventful. You're like, what the fuck?
Wait, but Vol, it didn't work.
Rorik's like, okay, and goes and sits next to the fire. Bivar is going to go with you, Vol. Yeah.
But did Clipper's frog said something though?
Oh yeah, I missed that.
You meant a lot to us.
So I guess we can send Clipper's magical frogs to Vol.
Well, it only remembers. I think it only says that one thing.
Does it move on its own?
Nope, it just says that. It just says those words.
I can maybe help with that.
Okay.
But not now.
Oh, sorry.
If the three of us put our minds together, we could create an entire army of messenger frogs.
Oh my god, yes. One of them would be bound to succeed. It's just odds. That's how it works.
So yeah, as Vol kind of fades up and over the hill with Bivar and the guard that led him there, the the rest of you have a moment to kind of, see your friend disappear over the horizon and take into account, the adventure that you had together, and wondering, maybe that is the last time you ever see him. It's a hard world, and he did what he was sent to do, just like you've been sent here to do something as well. Hopefully you take a minute to kind of dwell on his final message to you this morning about your mission and his concerns. And you turn around, Rorik's already sitting next to the fire and speaking to Lambert. Clipper and Rallick and Eligor and Tia, you guys are free to kind of move about the map and go where you'd like. As they kind of wander off, Perry, you turn to leave and you hear a splash of water. And behind you, when you turn around, there's a toad on the shore. And he looks at you. And
I look at him.
He opens his mouth, and instead of ribbit, you hear Vol's voice. It says, "You want to read it?"
Oh, are you? I didn't know if you were leading me in there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he saw like behind the magic wand, so hopefully it makes sense. But he just goes,
You have a good heart. Don't be afraid to let people see what lies behind the magic.
And with that, the frog turns around and jumps back into the water. You see it swim over to the opposite shore, and it loads up these good berries into its gullet and disappears beneath the murky water and swims away.
Perry stares after the toad for a moment, and then he says to himself, "That was strange."
Yeah, you watch the toad as it kind of like disappears beneath the surface. And like 12 seconds later, a decent-sized fish with a toad in its mouth comes up above the water like...
Oh, goodness.
Did Vol turn into a toad? I'm confused.
I think he just... Are you familiar with ventriloquism?
Oh, yeah, because I saw him walk away, and then I heard him.
Yeah, he must be
You saw the
throwing.
frog. You guys saw the frog too, right?
Yeah, that didn't seem very efficient. That was like 20 minutes of waiting. And it was, all it had to move was like 10 feet.
Well, it did its job.
It's true.
Better than I can do.
Better than I can do, too. Mine just says that one thing.
That's true. But at scale, that would take like 35 years and 2 months and
Okay.
4 minutes.
Rorik's like, Tia's right, that was stupid.
I would like to try to find another toad.
Sure, you can either make a survival check or like an investigation check.
Oh yeah, you're so smart.
Oh yeah, for sure. So having seen the way that the toad moves and the color that it is, you kind of scan the shoreline and find a toad.
Okay. I would like to catch the toad.
Ooh, okay, that'll be a little bit more difficult. Do you want to explain what method you're going to use to catch the toad? Do you want to try to out-strength it, like, basically follow it into the water and grab it when it tries to swim away? Do you want to be more dexterous and, like, basically try to sneak up behind it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Using my small size to my advantage. Sneak in there. Sneaky-like.
Sure. Let's
Snatch that
make
toad.
We're going to make a stealth check first against the toad's passive perception because it's not actively looking for you. Okay, you've managed to beat its passive perception. Now, in order to catch it, you can either do like a sleight of hand or a general dexterity check, whichever you think would fit the situation. Yeah, so you sneak up right behind this sucker, and before he knows what's going on, you've got him, and he wriggles for a little bit and kind of stares at you. As anybody who's ever caught a toad knows, he pees.
Oh no! Yeah,
I
that
catch-
happens.
So there's that.
I caught him in my gloved hand.
Okay. So he pees on your glove.
Yeah, that can be cleaned. The skin, though, whew. I'm gonna look this toad dead in the eyes, and I'm gonna say to him, I want you to find my friend Vol, and I want you to tell him, Caliente Grugoris.
Caliente.
And then I let him go.
All right. Yeah, you put him down, and he hops twice in the water and disappears beneath the waves. There are no waves. It's stagnant water. The ripples of the other toad being eaten by a giant fish.
I think I was supposed to say Caliente Grugoris first, and then tell him to find Vol. We'll see.
Uh-oh.
Thank you all for playing with me in this toad-based space.
It is our Toad RPG system.
This has been
Toad Quest.
I'm sure. I'm worried we might have too many viewers on Twitch now. There might be thousands of people that have flocked here for just this toad.
If there's a reason to tune into our channel, it's for this.
That good
Right.
Toad content.
This is all of it. This is what we do.
Battle Toads.
Right. For those of you out there on Twitch who have been waiting for this toad-based content, you're welcome. Yeah. So Rorik, having already sat around the fire, is kind of your keynote here to see the additional people from the delegation kind of, rush up to greet you. Ralik, you don't get, 2 words out of your mouth before, the brigadier general's on you, stink on shit. He's just got you by the shoulders. He kind of gives you a hug, and then he's looking you over to make sure that you're okay. The rear admiral comes up. She's very curt until Rorik kind of addresses Perry. The bishop walks around and talks to everybody, and then manages to kind of stop over and check in on you guys having formed that previous connection. And you all kind of take a few minutes to catch up. What you catch from just passing conversations, since you're all kind of talking at the same time, it's like a group of people that show up to a party and everybody's kind of talking to somebody else. Lambert explains that, they were waiting as per the plan. And then this tree portal opened up inside of the Dreaming Tree of Alan Mere, and a giant contingent of turtles arrived. And they were there basically, they had heard about what had happened and were attempting to pursue the insurgents that you had run into at the Dreaming Tree. And afterwards, the one who had opened the portal was basically like, oh, you guys are heading to Tetzinger? Well, jump on in. So they transported them, and they were here that same day, just seconds later. So they've been here for a few days while you guys trekked under.
That was very unfortunate for us.
Did not expect
Yeah.
that.
Wow. I mean, at least we're all still alive.
Yeah, we had a nice, easy trip, too. We fought a Hydra. There was whispering in a dark cave. Tentacles.
Yeah, we learned stuff, and we made a boat.
Vacation, really.
And I had a child.
Well, not sure I want to get into that last bit, but you don't look any worse for what you made it here with the folks you're supposed to escort. Sounds like mission complete. You hungry?
Yeah.
Good. I'm not. Hearing the robot had a child. That's weird. You can have what I was making.
It wouldn't messy or anything.
So, we'll say that you guys, kind of, you sit around the fire. You're free to explore this general area. What you realize pretty quick is that all of these small huts are basically like 2 beds. Pretty ramshackle as far as the setup goes. But it's clearly temporary construction that's been built for while you stay here. We can get into what you would like to do while you're here after the break.
Yay.
Everybody go ahead and take the full 10, and we'll be back.